ONTV's Game of the Week is underwritten by LOHS Palace Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, servicing Lake Orion's automotive needs since the 1960s. Jets Pizza, offering pizzas, subs, salads, and wings with 2 convenient locations in the Orion area. Camp Bow Wow, providing a fun, safe, and upscale environment for dogs to play, romp, and receive lots of love and attention. Be Zany, fun hats, costumes, toys, and party supplies for every occasion. And Classic Lanes, your home for family fun and family entertainment in Rochester Hills. Pregame is brought to you by LOHS Palace Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 3800 South Lapeer Road in Lake Orion. LOHS Palace has been servicing Lake Orion's automotive needs since the 1960s.
The Dragons return after a 1-1 road trip to welcome the Troy Colts. It's the home opener. We've got it all for you here on Orion Neighborhood Television. Good evening, everyone. Doug Corliss along with Chris Fritching again. It is the home opener. The Troy Colts provide the opposition, and the Dragons coming off a 1-1 road trip. Chris, last year we saw some signs with the defense that they were starting. It just wasn't Lake Orion defense. So far this year in 2 games, the point differential for Lake Orion is 10, 70-60. We've gone entire seasons without seeing the Dragons give up 60 points. Is it a cause for concern?
You know, you're 2 games into the season. You played a very good team in Chippewa Valley week 1, and really you played against an improved Troy Athens team. And if you look at the statistics, you know, passing, the defense has given up 61% of passes, completions to their opponents, given upwards of almost 390 yards total offense they're giving up defensively. So, but that being said, still 1-1. And you know, one thing I think is of concern is that in big plays, they've given up 14 big plays, which are 20 yards and more. So in 2 games, that's quite a few, and you got to be concerned there. And what they also haven't done defensively is force any turnovers. But again, it's a young defense. They'll get their feet underneath them tonight, and in a first home game, it should be exciting. But I got to talk about this. You know, the flip side of the ball offensively. I don't know if you've ever heard of this kid, number 25, Matt Krause, pretty good running back. And he 5'11", 190 pounds, and you know, you might not believe everything you read, and I certainly didn't when I read these things, but I got to read some of these stats to you, okay? 59 attempts, 744 yards, 12.6 yard average, 8 touchdowns. Let me read you his touchdowns. 31, 86, 3, 70 yards, 75, 26, and 28. That's in 2 games. And obviously they're doing something well up front with that offensive line, but Matt Krause has been a very pleasant, I don't want to say pleasant surprise, because you know, last year alone he just over 400 yards total in the year for him. Obviously behind some quality backs for Orion this year, but it's going to be exciting tonight to watch him here at home for the first game of the season and against the Troy Colts Ball Club.
Well, you know, we saw flashes of Matt Krause his sophomore and junior years, but I think there's a big thing this year because he's the guy. You know, he played behind Chris Lee as Chris Lee played behind Jacob Miller, as Jacob Miller played behind Marcus Stevenson, and all those guys, when they got to be the guy, that's when you saw him really shine. And talking to Coach Bell before the game, he said, yeah, he slimmed down. He lost 10 pounds, and that really added the speed and didn't give up the power running.
You know, and you're right, and all those things being considered, Matt's a big one to talk about how big those guys up front are doing and making the holes for him and providing the protection. But boy, you watch him tonight. He runs the ball hard. He's got that 4.6 speed. He attended a number of college camps this summer, and he's starting to get the calls now, as he should. And he will continue to be watched over the course of the year. And I'm just excited to see him play tonight.
Troy comes in, and in years past, now Troy hasn't beaten the Dragons since 2007. In past years, Troy would come in with huge lines, both sides of the ball, and they would just impose their will on you. And talking with Coach Gary Griffith before the game, and he says it's the demographics of the district. Less kids are coming out for football. can they stay competitive in the Red division, or sometime down the road would they have to go maybe down to the White?
You know, from an enrollment standpoint, I don't think there's ever a way that they would end up doing that. I mean, I guess there's always that possibility, but, you know, of enrollment, they're in the mid-2000s in terms of school enrollment, so I can't ever see them doing that. But, you know, whether you've got 50 kids or 80 kids or anywhere in between or lower than that, you got to work with the kids you've got, and you got to build them, and you got to work with them. And you're right, they've struggled this year. They've only scored 3 points over the course of 2 games. But if you go back to the history of Lake Orion Troy, you mentioned 2007 was the last time Troy beat Lake Orion. I went back and looked at from 2000 on, and Lake Orion has certainly had their number, 13 wins against 1 loss, and in 14 of those games, Lake Orion has shut out Troy 7 of those times, which I thought was really interesting. So it's going to be interesting tonight because Troy, to this point in time over the last 2 games, has given up a lot of big plays. An 87-yard punt return last week against West Bloomfield, an 83-yard wide receiver screen last week as well. They've given up big plays. On the flip side, Lake Orion's had some big plays offensively, so it's going to be interesting to see what you're going to see tonight.
The schedule maker kind of gave Lake Orion a bugaboo. We only have 3 home games this year. Talking with athletic director Bill Reese, he's certainly not happy about it because it's 1, possibly 2 games of revenue that the school system would bring in. Back in 1999, the field was being redone. We called ourselves the Road Warriors. We played our first 7 games on the road. When you have a big road schedule, you're always playing in front of, to call it less, a hostile crowd. What's that do for a team?
Oftentimes it can make you a lot stronger. You've got to be that much more cohesive of a unit. You've got to be able to go on the road, and your focus has got to be solely on that particular football game. Not that it's not when you're at home, but oftentimes when you're at home, there's a lot more distractions to deal with, and so forth. So, bottom line, whatever the schedule is, wherever you're playing, when it's all said and done, you climb the ladder through the playoffs. You're going to be playing on the road at some point in time. So you're going to have to be good both at home and the road if you want to make it all the way to Ford Field come November.
Last week, we had high humidity, high temperatures, and rain. What a difference tonight makes. A little fall nip in the air. The band's taking the field. It's football weather. Lake Orion and Troy coming up. Stay with us.
Pregame is brought to you by LOHS Palace Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 3800 South Lapeer Road in Lake Orion. LOHS Palace has been servicing Lake Orion's automotive needs since the 1960s.
We own a Habitat home.
I love working on my Habitat home.
Soy dueño de una casa de Habitat.
My neighbor is a Habitat homeowner.
Being a Habitat homeowner has changed our lives.
My mortgage payment for Habitat is less than what I pay for rent.
Habitat for Humanity of Oakland County currently has homes available with mortgage payments lower than most rent payments. If you or someone you know needs decent and affordable housing, call 248-338-1843 or visit our website at habitatoakland.org.
Our first quarter of action is underwritten by Jets Pizza, offering pizzas, subs, salads, and wings, and more with 2 convenient locations in the Orion area. Jets Pizza, a proud supporter of ONTV since 2009. Camp Bow Wow, located at 6374 Sashabaw Road in Clarkston, your premier doggy daycare and overnight facility. Check them out on the web at www.campbowwow.com/Clarkston. And Be Zany, Party Warehouse, offering everything from fun hats, costumes, toys, and party supplies for every occasion. Located at 3970 South Baldwin Road in Orion Township. Be Zany is your home for everything party. Our scoreboard this half is brought to you by Camp Bow Wow, your premier doggy daycare and overnight facility. Check them out on the web at www.campbowwow.com/Clarkston.
Just before kickoff, the band is getting ready for the national anthem before Lake Orion and Troy. Troy is coached by head coach Gary Griffith. He's in his 23rd year, 139 and 88 overall. They won a state championship in 1994, but last year went 3-6 and did not make the playoffs. So far this year, Troy is 0-2. They lost to Sterling Heights Stevenson the first week, 7-3, played a really good game. Last week, they went to West Bloomfield and lost that one 41-0. Coach Griffith says he just hasn't had the numbers he's had in years past, and when kids get hurt, he's got to put very young kids in. That's a double-edged sword. Either they get the experience, but it takes a while. Coach Bell's lining the Dragons up, and the Dragons take the field. While we're talking about Coach Bell, Chris Bell's in his 17th year at Lake Orion, 136 and 44 overall, state finalist in 2008, state title in 2010. Lake Orion's made the playoffs 13 straight years and 15 of the 16 years of Coach Bell's tenure. Last year, Lake Orion finished up 7-2, lost to Romeo in the first round of the playoffs. So far this year, in week 1, they lost to Chippewa Valley 38-35 in a last-minute field goal. And last week, Lake Orion beat Troy Athens 35-22. Chris, we're going to get your keys to the game.
Well, I think we talked about at the outset, number one is the running game. Matt Krause and that offensive line and the way they've been punishing defenses on the ground. 409 yards week 1, brought a school record, 335 yards last week on the ground. If he were to rush for 150 yards, which he did last year against Troy, that would look like as a down game, which obviously isn't the case. So establishing that running game early on. Number 2, Troy needs to establish some offensive consistency themselves. They've only scored 3 points all year long, and they just haven't looked crisp. They need to run long drives. Whether or not they score or not, they need to keep that Lake Orion offense off the field. And Lake Orion, number 3, has got to stay injury-free. They've had some early injuries this season that have, and we just can't come out of tonight's game with any injuries. So those are my keys to the game for tonight.
And we'll take a pause while Director of Bands Michael Steele leads the band in the national anthem. We'll take a minute before the game starts, go over the OAA Red standings. Clarkston leads the division, 1-0 in the division, 2-0 overall. They've got a game tonight against a very improved West Bloomfield team. Oxford is 1-0, 2-0 overall. They're at Troy Athens. West Bloomfield is 1-0, 2-0 overall. As we said, they play Clarkston tonight. Lake Orion's 1-0, 1-1 overall, playing against Troy tonight. Troy Athens 0-1, 1-1 overall, playing Oxford. Stony Creek is 0-1, 1-1 overall. They play Bloomfield Hills, and Troy is 0-1, 0-2 overall here at Lake Orion, and Bloomfield Hills is 0-1, 0-2 overall. Our officiating crew is an East Side crew. Referee is Pete Udzma. Head linesman is Tom Hebert. Line judge is Eric Yearlings. The umpire is Tom Turgeon. And the back judge is Shane Smith. Getting ready for kickoff. Troy Athens will receive and defend the goal to our left. Number 2, Luke Bavacqua will kick off for the Dragons. And back deep for Troy is number 25, Connor Wilson. And number 32, Dominic Morelli. Luke Bavacqua with the iridescent orange shoes, teeing the ball up.
You had that color when you played, right?
We had high tops. And we're underway. Kind of a line drive, squiggly kick taken by one of the upbacks, and he falls out of bounds at the 17-yard line, taken by number 3, C.J. Cousins. Chris, I think he probably could have let that ball go, and it would have gone out of bounds.
Yeah, he tried to pick it up and at least get something. Yeah, he picked it up, touched it about the 18-yard line, tried to get something. Didn't obviously field it cleanly, and when it did, it went out of bounds, and all he could do was recover. But you're probably right. He could have brought it out to the 35, but Lake Orion will take that inside the 20.
We'll try to set the Lake Orion defense. Aaron Hughes and Jalen Wiggins are the corners. And number 41, Pete Welgartz, and number 9, Joe Slayton are the safeties. Troy comes out, spread formation. Number 2, Nick Bradley, is the quarterback. You won't see him under center very often. Troy's running a 5-wide look, trips to the left. Back, looking to throw, throws over, got a receiver up to the 37-yard line. Brought down by number 64, Ethan Beckman. So that's a 1st and 10 for Troy from the 27-yard line. Just underway here, 11:50 left in the first. Bradley in the gun, handoff to number 11, Alex Devon, and he's around the left side up to the 30. Brought down by number 49, Jack Luby, and number 42, Joel Thorne.
Troy running that no huddle offense. It's not a fast calling offense, but no huddle offense and trying to keep Lake Orion defense on the field, keep them off guard, keep them ready to go. Troy's got to do what they can to establish some drives and stay in this ball game.
2nd and 6. Back to pass, throws, got a receiver, number 14, Jack Percy, and he's got a 1st down over the 40.
Nice little play action fake, and Percy just sits down in the hole right in the middle and knows where the sticks are, gets the 1st down, and again, that's what Troy's got to do. They've obviously seen the film that Lake Orion put out against Chip Valley and Troy Athens, and those teams had success with the air. That's what Troy started to do to this point.
Pete Welgartz in on the stop again for the Dragons. 1st and 10. Round the right side is number 32, Dom Morelli, and he's up close to the 45. Let's call it the 45. Brings up 2nd and 6. Ball on the Troy 45 on the right hash. Number 5, Eric Papandrea, is the back alongside Nick Bradley. Inside handoff, Papandrea. He had a little hole, and it closed up quickly when he got near the 48-yard line. Luby again in on the tackle for the Dragons, and also Jacob Thied in on the tackle.
That's the 3rd tackle for Luby already here in this early first quarter. Going to obviously be calling his name quite a bit tonight.
3rd down and 3 for Troy on the 48. Dragons closing up. Throw incomplete. Ball intended for number 32, Don Morelli, and he just misfired on it, threw it behind him.
You know, Beckman, number 64, was in the backfield applying a little bit of pressure, but you're right. Bradley had an open receiver, just threw it to his outside, his right side, and incomplete. And as a result, Lake Orion forces the Colts to punt.
Keith Fields drops back deep in punt formation for Lake Orion. Snap back, kick is away. Got it on the 15, dodges a tackle. We're going to have a block in the back by the Dragons. And Fields brings it up to about the 22-yard line, but it's coming back. I didn't see who came in late and hit in the back. Joe Velez is our producer-director tonight, pushing all the buttons. So here come the Dragons. They're going to walk it back to, they're still walking, 7-yard line. The Dragons will start out 1st and 10.
Well,
and you know, you see that more and more, that you just can't hold back, and they call that block in the back, and it's a field position killer.
It is, but the way Lake Orion's run the ball this year, and wherever they've been on the field, these, and as I mentioned earlier, Kraus with all those big touchdown runs, this usually isn't a factor. See?
Max Horneffer is the quarterback, and number 3, Keith Fields, gets the ball, and he gets it up to the 10-yard line, brought down by number 54, Johnny Giroux. So that brings up 2nd and 6 for the Dragons. Horneffer under center, inside handoff, Matt Kraus, and he's met and dropped. Number 21, Chase Fain, in on the tackle for Troy, along with number 64, Dave Murray. And Kraus lost his helmet. He's got to come out for a play, and he's taken by Nick Vassar.
One of those rules that they get, you got to come out of it for one play. If you've got an equipment issue, helmet comes off, pad comes out, whatever it might be.
Horneffer on the handoff, and Zach Surzo got the ball, and he really went nowhere.
Yeah, you know, initially I thought he had the edge. There was a little hole, and Surzo cuts back into that hole that was created, but the Colts did a nice job of corralling that Surzo that time, and really forced him for no gain, and brings up for them a big play, because ultimately, as you mentioned earlier, that your field position is key, and for a young team like Troy, who's struggled offensively, this might be the potion they need, so to speak.
Number 11, nameless player, is into punt, and he's got a high short kick, hits at the 35, and starts to take a Troy bounce, and they'll mark it on the 34, so Troy's going to start with good field position. And while Troy's calling their offensive play, we'll let you know that DVD copies can be purchased by calling ONTV at 248-693-3377 or 248-393-1060. For only $10, you can get a copy of not only this game, but any game or program in our broadcast vault. That's DVD copies, 248-693-3377 or 248-393-1060. Handoff to number 5, Eric Papandera, and he gets it up to just right at the 30-yard line. The line judge has got it marked.
Yeah, Ethan Beckman, number 64, again, did a nice job of getting penetration in the backfield and forced Papandrea to cut back. But when he cut back, there was no other Dragons there to corral him, and he was able to get 4 out of the play.
Trips to the left for Troy, double receiver to the right, empty backfield. Bradley looking over to the sideline. Goes to throw, pass over the middle, complete to number 4, Casey O'Brien. And referee Pete Utzman's calling it first down Troy.
You know, that's the third pass that Troy's completed right over that middle in that little curl hook zone area. Obviously, they've seen something on tape that well suits what they're doing, and they've done a nice job of finding that little hole, that gap, and getting a couple chunk yards for a first down in this case.
Troy's coming out and setting their offensive formation, and then Bradley's looking over to the sideline for the sign. Handoff to number 4, Casey O'Brien on the sweep right. He's down inside the 20.
You know, that you watch that play from here, and traditionally, typically, you see a guy or two in green on the other side of the line of scrimmage. That play you certainly didn't. Troy did a nice job of stealing the edge and staying on their blocks, and as a result, 6 yards and a second and short for the Colts.
Tommy Babich on the tackle for Lake Orion. It brings up 2nd down and 4. Motion, hand up. Bradley on the keeper. He did a great play fake to Papandrea because I had Papandrea going on the sweep left, and Bradley took it right over right tackle. Got a first down and goal inside the 5. They're going to mark it about the 3.
Just a little version of a read option, and Bradley took it and did what he could to nearly get Troy their first touchdown of the year.
First and goal. Bradley under center for one of the few times in his life. Handoff to number 4, Casey O'Brien, and he goes nowhere.
Casey O'Brien runs into the Dragons number 28, senior Aaron Hughes, near the line of scrimmage.
Aaron Hughes and Jacob Thede on the play.
Thank you. I was trying to listen to what Roger said. 2nd down and goal, no gain on the play. 4:30 left here in the first quarter. Offset eye in the backfield. And Bradley tries a keeper, gets maybe a half a yard.
Yeah, they're unbalanced too to the right, and you're going to quarterback keep from 3 yards out. Kind of questionable.
Hughes and Thede again in on the tackle for the Dragons. So it's 3rd and 3 from the 3. This is a big play early in the game.
It is, for Troy, because they've got to come out and establish some confidence, and to be able to do that against a Lake Orion team that they haven't had a lot of success with, would be huge for them.
Bradley comes out in the pistol, throws to the corner. Got it. Touchdown for Troy. Number 5, Eric Papandrea, and he started off in the middle and cut to the left and just outran the coverage.
Yeah, but they also did a little rub route or pick route, depending upon which side of the football you're on. The outside receiver comes inside. They're playing. Lake Orion was in man coverage and kind of bumped off the defender on Papandrea, and Bradley threw a nice ball up and over the shoulder for a nice touchdown. So tribute to them for a nice play.
Kyle feeds him with the point after, and it's good. 3:36 left here in the first quarter. Troy leads Lake Orion 7-0.
Go mobile with ONTV anytime. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube on your mobile devices. Connect with ONTV to see what's happening in our new studio. See upcoming events and watch ONTV programs in high definition on demand. ONTV working to bring Lake Orion to the world.
Speaking of which, this is the first time we've done one of our games in sparkling high definition television.
Well, I tell you what, going back to the keys of the games that we talked about earlier, number 2, we talked about Troy needing to establish some offensive drives and take up some clock, and certainly they've done that, with 8 minutes and 24 seconds into this first quarter. So for Troy, that's the confidence that they need to build coming on the road here in Lake Orion.
Matt Krause is deep for the Dragons. He's flanked either side by Zach Serzo and Keith Fields. Number 22, Kyle Feetson, will kick off for Troy. And you're right, Chris, they just seem to, on that drive, they just seem to exploit the middle of the Dragon defense. High end over end kick, coming down to Serzo on the 10, cuts the corner up over the 25 and out of bounds.
But what did it start with, Doug? It started with burying Lake Orion back in their own zone after the block in the back. Lake Orion couldn't convert, a fairly short punt. As a result, Troy has a short field in which to work, and they put 7 points up on the board.
Yep. That was 35 yards for the Troy touchdown. Dragons take over on their 27.
Lake Orion started off slow last weekend at Troy Athens, and we're down 7-0 at the end of the first quarter before the weather came to postpone until Saturday.
Number 8, Cameron Costas, comes in at quarterback. Inside handoff to Matt Krause. He gets over the 30, gain of about 4, be 2nd and 6.
And that's the thing, all week long Troy was focusing on number 25, and they were trying to put somebody as best they could from their team who was that scout team running back. And I'm sure they eat, breathed, and thought about Matt Krause. How are we going to stop him? And, it's obviously early in the game, and their focus is such on the entire team. But so far, so good for the Colts.
Costas under center. Toss right to Krause. He's got the edge. He's got a first down over the 35 to the 39. Good run that side. That time they got the end sealed, and Matt did the rest. Dragons going hurry up.
He flat out looks like a back too, huh?
He does. Well, they said he's lost 10 pounds from last year, and that really added to the speed. Ryan Wood split wide to the right. Number 80, Nick Fox, split to the left. Krause up the middle, over the 40 to maybe the 41. And you're right, they're just jamming the middle, but you would think that after a while that's going to leave somebody with one-on-one coverage on the outside.
But that's just it. You look at the stats, and Lake Orion as a whole through 2 games has only only attempted 10 passes this year, 5 of 10. But they've been pretty successful. Average per completion is over 21 yards a reception. So they'll pick and choose when they need to do that.
2nd down, Krause gets the toss right over the 45 and down. They're going to call him down at the 46.
But as you know, when you simply have the success that you've had on the ground, go back to the well until they can stop you. Mix it up by formation, mix it up by scheme, but ride the
horse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nick Scortino in on the last tackle for the Colts. 3rd down and 2 for the Dragons from the 47. Right hash.
Lake Orion's coming into tonight's game averaging 450 yards on the ground. That's on the ground. Over 500 in the game.
That's beyond fantasy football.
This is real football.
It is. Kraus gets a handoff. He's going to be close. He's near the 39. And the head linesman is coming in. He's short of the stick. They're going to mark it about a half-yard short.
Lake Orion comes in tonight 0 for 2 on fourth down conversions this year.
Jack Luby coming in at a running back spot. The Dragons are going to go full house backfield. They're coming up.
Unbalanced right.
And Matt Kraus has the first down over the 50 in Detroit territory at the 46. Dragons coming up to the line. And that's the end of the first quarter. Our score, Troy 7, Lake Orion nothing. Be sure to tune in to replays of your favorite games right here on ONTV. Tune in Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 1 p.m. for the most current games in our lineup. Games are also replayed throughout the week, so check our program guide on our webpage at ONTV.org for replay times that best fit your viewing schedule. Also, visit our YouTube link for games on demand. www.ONTV.org. Chris, looking at the OAA Red, everybody's handing the throne to Clarkston. We've got some improved teams. I think West Bloomfield's going to be a much improved team. And Oxford's going to give some people fits too.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Clarkston, you're right. All the preseason prognosticators and experts are picking Clarkston to go back. And you know, until someone beats them, you got to go with that. But you're right. West Bloomfield, Stony Creek was decent last year, and Lake Orion's always been good. So it's a young season.
Number 3, Keith Fields got the ball on the sweep left, and he got to the corner but just couldn't get it. Just ran out of real estate.
You know, and that's why you come and play the games. I mean, we talked about the schedule and going on the road and now being at home, and you play the games that you're on your schedule, and I wouldn't have thought that the score would be 7-0 after the end of the first quarter in Troy's favor. You know, I just based on what I've seen to this point in time in the season. So you just never know. That's why you play the games.
Costas, handoff up the middle to number 5, Zach Serzo. Brought down by number 55, Nick Scortino, who called his name a couple times. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 5 for the Dragons on the Troy 41.
Lake Orion just over 54% on 3rd down conversions this year.
Costas.
Ooh.
Handoff to Serzo, and he got a gain of maybe 2, and it's going to be 4th and 2. You know, we just had that shot at Coach Bell. Coach Bell slimmed down. He's looking pretty buff.
Was he in the offseason workout program as well?
He had to have been. He looks good. 4th and 2. The scoreboard calls it 4th and 3. Costas back to pass, complete. Number 84, Ryan Wood, went up and got it.
Nice little concept, a little double slant. The inside slot receiver Serzo does a slant, which opened up the slant on the outside to Wood, and Katzis threw a nice ball for a big first down for the Dragons.
So 1st and 10 from the Dragons from the 32. Trips to the left. Handoff to Kraus. He's up the middle. He's got another first down at the 21-yard line. They're going to call it the 22. That was all just hard running.
Little draw play out of that trips formation, and again, the Hogs up front are doing their job, getting some movement, and Matt does a nice job of running with that lean and find a little crease for a first down.
Cameron Costas is the quarterback. Wood and Fox are the outside receivers. Zach Serzo's in a slot left, along with Keith Fields. Kraus up the middle, he's hit and he breaks a tackle, breaks 2 tackles, and drags it back with him down to the 5-yard line. He got number 25, Connor Wilson, and dragged him for 10 yards. That's leg power.
He's sniffing that end zone, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like he has all year to this point in time. Oh, what a heck of a run by number 25.
I thought he was down at the line, and he kept his balance and got it down to a 1st and goal for the Dragons. They're calling it from the 6.
And that's what great backs do. They run with that lean. They keep those feet moving and churning while securing that football, and that's what Kraus did that time.
Kraus, and he's hit at the line. Number 21, Chase Fain, in on the tackle with a little help from his friends.
You know, that's what Troy's got to do. You know, Fain comes off the edge and gets into the backfield and gets Kraus there, but they got to mix it up. They've got to do some stunting. They've got to do some things different than they've done, and oftentimes guess right in order to keep Orion off the board.
2nd and goal from the 6. Kraus again, and he just bowls some people over. He took number 21, Chase Fain, and just put him on his back. And it's one thing to run hard. It's one thing to have the balance. It's one thing to have the power. But a running back's got to hold on to the ball while he's doing it.
Yeah, you know, as many times as Matt, up until this time, 59 carries coming into tonight's game, he did fumble twice. So, you know, those are things that we've got to certainly improve upon, and we'll certainly do so.
Number 5, Zach Serzo on the sweep, and he's tackled for loss. Number 64, David Murray, in on the tackle, along with number 52, Chris Komastopoulos.
I'm gonna tell you what, based on watching Troy against West Bloomfield last week, this doesn't even look close to the same team that I watched on film. Not even close.
Luke Bavacqua is in for a 25-yard field goal attempt. Number 84, Ryan Wood, is the holder. Kick is up, and the kick is no good. Line drive kick, kind of a knuckleball, had no turn to it at all.
You know what, Doug, we talked about at the outset, you know, yeah, you come in young ball team, right? Young ball club tonight that Lake Orion has, and there's times where you look at stats, you look at film on an opponent, you say, you know, yeah, we're 1-1 and probably should have been 2-0, but when it's all said and done, you look at the film and you say, maybe say to yourself, you know, do you overlook a team? I mean, Coach Bell, I don't think would allow that to happen, certainly wouldn't, but at the same time, it's one of those things where you gotta take that mental part of the game into consideration, and you know what we're seeing, a a Troy team that's playing well and probably a Lake Orion team that, to be honest with you, is not so far.
1st and 10 for Troy. Bradley's the quarterback. And he does a flip. Ball's loose. And fallen on by number 32, Dom Morelli. That was the read option, and he flipped out to Morelli, and Morelli never had a chance to grab it.
Yeah, poor pitch from the get-go. The concept in the backfield flow, the misdirection was good, but when it's all said and done, the option, the pitch wasn't.
So 2nd down and 13 from the 17-yard line. Spread formation for Troy, 3 receivers to the left. Bradley throws, got number 11, Devin Alexander. He's brought down by number 49. We've called him a lot tonight, Jack Luby. Gain of about 10 or 11. It's 3rd down and 1 from where the sticks are.
All they did was run a little hitch route. Aaron Hughes, number 28, sitting a little high, and they just run a little simple hitch route, and Aaron Hughes was beat, and Luby made the tackle downfield.
So 3rd and 1 for Troy. Bradley making adjustments at the line. Timeout. Timeout called by Troy. 5:50 left here in the first. Troy leads 7-0. We'll remind you that our scoreboard is brought to you tonight by Camp Bow Wow. Call them 248-620-9663. And Chris, you know, you were talking about looking back after a game and looking at plays made. But how many times have we gone in and looked at film and also seen plays not made? A tackle that should have been there.
Right.
You know, and that's all part of growing up, you know, as a defense, as a team, as an offense, you know, minimizing those plays not made.
Absolutely. And that's just the learning curve for any team in any season. You know, the ability to hopefully start off on the right foot and but also grow at the same time, gather experience both sides of the football, special teams, and build on what you learned the week before.
So 3rd and 1.
Tell you what, with all this running, it's been a fast game so far.
It has. 5:50 left in the second. And run up the middle, and they got the first down. Bradley on the keeper. Got it just over the sticks. It'll be 1st and 10 for Troy from the 30.5-yard line. Jack McClear is in at right defensive end for the Dragons. Bradley going deep and overthrows number 5, Eric Papandrea. He maybe had a step.
He did.
And Bradley just overthrew him.
Boy, they looked like they ran 4 vertical receivers downfield, and you're right. Papandrea got on top of number 9, Joe Slayton, and protection was good. Ball was just overthrown.
2nd and 10. Troy trips to the left. Bradley in the pistol. Flag down. Hand to number 11, Devin Alexander on the sweep. And we got flags all over the place. We have a flag by the head linesman, a flag by the referee, and a flag by the line judge.
You know what? I'm going to throw my flag up here too, because
we might as well.
You know what? There was multiple flags and they were pretty evident.
Let's see what Pete Uzma's going to call here. One of them had to be a motion penalty.
I think you're right, and then there was a hold on the edge here. On this left edge when they're trying to run that toss sweep on McClear, there was a hold.
Procedure penalty against Troy, that's declined. Holding against Troy, that is accepted and it's second down. So they'll mark off 10, take it back to the 21-yard line. Troy will have 2nd and 20.
That's one of those things you try to run that toss player, that stretch play to the outside. You got to work on getting to the outside and making contact and getting your butt in the hole, so to speak. And if you don't quite get that and get your head across, oftentimes they're going to get you for that hold.
And over the years, that's what Dragon receivers have been really good at doing, is sealing that edge and not holding. It's something that's been preached upon for years. So they're calling it 1st and 24 for Troy. Inside handoff, and that goes nowhere.
Boy, guess who again? Luby, Beckman.
Number 61, Cameron Shadea, in on the stop.
Did a nice job of closing the gap and surrounding Papadrea for virtually no gain.
3rd down and 23. You're going deep in the playbook now. Bradley rolling to his right, throws, tipped and intercepted. Number 13, Jalen Wiggins with the pick. He overthrew the receiver, and Jalen Wiggins was right there saying thank you very much.
Yeah, just deflected off Colts receiver hand and right into Wiggins' hand. He steps out of bounds to the 25-yard line. 1st down, Lake Orion. That's the Lake Orion's first forced turnover of the year, so hopefully it's a situation where they can take advantage. Again, a short field, 27-yard line, he stepped out. Big play for Wiggins, big opportunity for the Dragons.
I'm sitting here trying to chart plays, and I get wound up watching the game and forget about charting plays.
Fundamental football there. That's that tip drill that defensive backs
always
do. Always working. There's vertical right down the middle. Right down the middle. Get that ball up. Touchdown.
Got it. Touchdown. Lake Orion Dragons. Zach Serzo. He was wide open over the middle.
You know, I'm sorry, Doug.
That's all right.
I saw him up here so wide open. A clean release right down the seam. And no free safety in the middle of the field. And sure enough, Costas finds Serzo for a quick strike, a quick score, a quick touchdown.
27 yards, 1 play. And you know what? That's the price you pay for keying on a back. I'm sure Troy thought Matt Krause was going to get the ball.
Well, you know, that being said, on the flip side, what do you want to do after you've gotten momentum back on a turnover?
You want to stop them.
But I'm saying after the interception, what did Lake Orion do? They went right up top to try to keep that momentum to their side, and they've done that in 2 quick plays.
Bevilacqua on the extra point. We're tied at 7, 4:32 left in the first half. Video classes are now enrolling. Reserve your seat today. Learn the basics of studio and field production with ONTV staff of video professionals. We've got half of the video professionals right here in this room. We offer hands-on instruction in a fun atmosphere. Orion residents pay only $10. Call ONTV to find out more at 248-693-3377 or 248-393-1060. And you can always visit our webpage at ONTV.org. So the Dragons tie it up. Dropping back deep for Troy is, I didn't bring the binoculars. Is that number 16? Number 32. Thank you very much. Dom Morelli's back deep for Troy. Bevilacqua kicks it off. Coming down on the 5. Up over to the 20 and maybe to the 23.
How about that? Serzo makes a touchdown from 27 yards out on the reception. Comes down on special teams. Makes the open field tackle.
So Troy takes over. 1st and 10 from the 21. 4:27 left in the first half.
Costa's second touchdown pass of the year.
Looks like Bradley leads him back out. Trips to the right. Double receiver set to the left.
There's that middle again,
Yep.
wide open.
Pass to number 5, and he's got running room. Brought down number 5, Eric Papandrea. And you're right, Chris, he caught it over the middle, and he had green turf all in front of him.
He sure did, and again, the Colts have done a nice job of finding that little hole and going back to it. Lake Orion's got to do something to be able to neutralize that.
1st and 10, big gain for Troy. 1st and 10 on the Lake Orion 39-yard line. Bradley throws, quick hitter. Number 32, Don Morelli. He's got a first down inside the 30 to the 28.
Yeah, Morelli's just a little slot on the left-hand side, and he just does a little seam route right up the middle. And Bradley sees him. Nice, again, chunk play for the Colts.
First down for Troy on the Lake Orion 28. Ball's on the left hash. Bradley, empty backfield. Throws left. Was that Morelli? It was. Morelli again on the reception. Gain of about 2. That'll be second down. Jack Luby ran him out of bounds.
Very methodical, and that's what they need to do to make it a close game, and it certainly has been. It is.
Yeah, I keep looking at the base formation. Bradley on the keeper, and he's brought down real quick.
Yeah, they've been in the gun. They've been 4 or 5 wides a lot of the time, and they ran a lot of unbalance last week. They ran a lot of screens last week, and just never found that offensive consistency they needed, and they've done a nice job to this point in time.
Jack McClear on the stop for the Dragons brings up 3rd down and 8. Bradley back in the guns, got motion left. And we have a flag. They're going to call a procedure penalty. Again, I think Bradley took a step forward before he got the ball.
You know, he did that earlier on that 4th and short. It was a 3rd and short or 4th and short. He started in the gun and then came up under center, took a snap, and quarterback sneaked it for a first down. So, you know, I don't, not that was a situation where we're.
I think that was going to be a keeper, and he wanted to get a little head start. Handoff, number 5, that's Papandrea. He gets maybe the penalty yardage back, plus a yard. It is 4th and 9. From the 27.
Just outside the field goal range for them, so
they're going for it. Trips to the left, double receiver set to the right. Bradley, empty backfield. Back to throw, looking, throws, caught.
Boy.
Number 14, Jack Percy, and he had someone hanging all over him. And
yeah, McClear was on him the entire way, and it was actually very good coverage.
He just went up and got it.
Well, absolutely, Percy 6'2", and you're right. And ball was thrown in the perfect spot. Nice catch.
McClear 6 foot 185, and so 1st and 10. Bradley back, got pressure, And he's down. Number 4, Logan Shadea came in on the blitz and nailed him. About a 4-yard loss. So it's 2nd and 14 from the 19, 1:42 left in the first half. We're tied at 7.
One of the few times tonight that Lake Orion's blitzed and it's been successful.
Bradley back to throw, looking, throws left,
Boy,
incomplete.
They had that set up.
Yeah.
Wiggins was the only one out there on the perimeter. They had 3 Colt players out ready to block downfield on that screen, wide receiver screen.
That was intended for number 3, C.J. Cousins. So now it brings up a 3rd and 14, 1:26 left.
Right call that time offensively, just poor execution.
Bradley back to throw. Sets, throws, caught. Number 11, that's Alexander. Number 39, Dallas Cleary in on the tackle.
Just runs a little sideline comeback route, Alexander does, and he turns up inside and tries to gain a few more yards. As timeouts necessarily aren't an issue right now.
So it's 4th and 3 from the 8. And I think Coach Griffin's going to let the clock run down. And then he'll call timeout. Troy has 2 timeouts left. Lake Orion, their full complement of 3. And timeout is called with 37 seconds left here in the 2nd quarter. You're right, Chris. This is a pretty inspired Troy team coming out tonight. Not what we expected.
No, not me certainly. And I guess again, going back to what we talked about earlier, you shouldn't put it past anybody to be able to come out inspired and ready to play. You know, and you should be. You're coming into Lake Orion. You haven't had a lot of success against them. The Lake Orion program's been very solid for a decade plus, and you know what? As we always say, you want to get to be a good team, you got to play with the best, and so forth. And obviously, we still got another half to go, but Troy has played very, very well to this point in time.
So 4th down and 3. Troy is going to attempt a 25-yard field goal. Number 22 beats them. High snap, ball's down, and it's blocked.
Jalen Wiggins coming off the edge, you know, and it was ever so subtle, ever so slight, but that ball was high. That ball was snapped high. And the holder had to stand up, put it back down on the block, and as a result, you know, Jalen might have gotten there regardless, but bottom line, that helped his cause, and that's a huge play for the Dragons going into halftime.
Jalen Wiggins came off the end like he was shot out of a gun.
And you know darn well, you've been around this program long enough, how many countless, I don't want to say hours, but they spent a long time of Coach Blackstock and his special teams units to spend a long time coming off the edge and practicing that particular play. Well done by Jalen Wiggins.
Thursday afternoons, boy, how we remember.
The kids love it. The kids
love it.
Oh,
sure they do. Dragons are going to take a knee. Go into the locker room tied. So as the seconds count down in the 2nd quarter, we will go to halftime. Your score, Troy 7 and Lake Orion 7. Chris, quite a first half.
Quite a first half. Interesting first half. After scoring as many points as Lake Orion has this year, offensively, I didn't expect to see just 7 at halftime. But it's a good game, a nice close game, and Lake Orion took advantage of the 1 turnover, and Troy, prior to that, took advantage of the short field. The result, we get a 7-7 ball game.
We'll be back for the second half. You are watching exclusive coverage of Lake Orion Dragon Television here on Orion Neighborhood Television.
Our first quarter of action is underwritten by Jets Pizza, offering pizzas, subs, salads, and wings, and more with 2 convenient locations in the Orion area. Jets Pizza, a proud supporter of ONTV since 2009. Camp Bow Wow, located at 6374 Sashabaw Road in Clarkston, your premier doggy daycare and overnight facility. Check them out on the web at www.campbowwow.com/Clarkston. And Be Zany, Party Warehouse, offering everything from fun hats, costumes, toys, and party supplies for every occasion. Located at 3970 South Baldwin Road in Orion Township. Be Zany is your home for everything party.
Hello, Lake Orion and Oakland County. This is Sammy Termina here, talking a new show here called OAA Now. We're going to talk about sports from football to basketball to volleyball to track and field to soccer, cross country, etc. here on OAA Now on ONTV.
Halftime is underwritten by Classic Lanes, located at 2145 Avon Industrial Drive in Rochester Hills. Classic Lanes is your home for family fun and family entertainment. Visit them on the web at myclassiclanes.com.
Halftime here at Lake Orion, the Dragons and the Troy Colts tied at 7. Chris, you've got the halftime stats.
Yeah, scoring drives. Troy scored in the first quarter, 3:36 to go in the first quarter. 3-yard pass completion from Bradley to Papandreou. And Lake Orion scored in the second quarter, 4:32 in the second. Cameron Costas to complete pass to Surzo from 27 yards out. That's a 7-7 score. You know, Lake Orion comes into tonight's game averaging 503 yards total offense. At halftime tonight, 98. So Troy's got 152 yards. Total offense, 117 in the air. Lake Orion, 34 in the air. What else do we want to look at here? The big turnover for Troy, the interception, again, which converted, Lake Orion converted on the next play on the touchdown pass from Costas to Surzo. So that was a big statistic. 8 first downs for Lake Orion to 6 for Troy. Matt Kraus, 11 carries, 57 yards. So he's averaging 5.2, which is a great average, but compared to what he's done to this point in time, is almost half of what he's averaged to this point.
It's pretty bad when you think a guy might have 125, 150 yards and he's had an off night.
Right, exactly. Costas 2 for 2 for 34 yards and a touchdown. On the flip side, Troy, Nicholas Bradley, their quarterback's been good. 10 of 14 for 117 yards, a touchdown and an interception. And he leads their team with 5 carries for 12 yards. Not a lot, but again, you see by the score, it's obviously it's tied, and you look at the stats, and it's pretty even on both sides of the football. So, you know, as Lake Orion did last week against Athens, not necessarily coming out of the break, but coming out from Friday to actually playing Saturday, they turned things around and made some adjustments and corrected some things. And I would anticipate in that short time frame that you have at halftime, you know, there's only so much you can do at halftime, but I would anticipate both teams doing some things that will enable hopefully us to have an even better game in the second half.
All right, your coach Tooley, what do you tell your defense at halftime?
You know what? They're doing a nice job of stopping the run. They're doing a good job of corralling Papandreou and Bradley when he runs the ball, but they've found that void in the middle of the field. Again, I keep going back to that curl hook zone in the middle of the field that they're finding success with, and so they've got to either mix up some blitzes so so Bradley doesn't have as much time, or coverage-wise, got to adjust some things. You know what? When it's all said and done, they've only given up 7 points.
Right.
You know, and it's you know, on the flip side, offense has got to get things rolling, and I would anticipate that being the case. They got to get back to their horse. Comes out of here with 57 yards in the first half, which is a solid first half, no question. But there's places that they'll improve, and if we know Lake Orion and what they've in Dragons, what they've done in the past, I would anticipate those things happen in the second half.
Halftime is underwritten by Classic Lanes, located at 2145 Avon Industrial Drive in Rochester Hills. Classic Lanes is your home for family fun and family entertainment. Visit them on the web at myclassiclanes.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Bouchard, the Oakland County Sheriff. There's a big problem that faces all the communities in America today, and that's abuse of legitimate prescription drugs. Sometimes they're left in the home when a loved one passes away, or they're in the medicine cabinet for someone else, and a youngster in the home steals it and they abuse it. It's one of the fastest growing drug abuses that we see in our community and across the country. Secondly, we see these drugs oftentimes when they're no longer utilized being flushed down the drain, and we're seeing higher levels of residual pharmaceuticals in our waterways and our streams. So, to solve two problems with one effort, we partnered with Home Instead Senior Care to start a program called Operation Medicine Cabinet to get those drugs out of the homes, out of the hands of youngsters, and out of the waterway, and safely and environmentally destroy them. Learn more about the program at OperationMedicineCabinetMI.com and be part of the solution. Thank you.
Please remember that CFL bulbs, you know, those curly, energy-efficient light bulbs everybody is using to save electricity, shouldn't be thrown away in your trash. Neither should batteries or home medical sharps. You can check with your local community to see where they can be recycled. Some retailers will allow you to bring them in for recycling. You can also order simple kits online that allow you to collect your recyclables and simply mail them away to be properly recycled. This green tip was brought to you by your friends at Waste Management.
Replays are underwritten by Jets Pizza, servicing the Orion area with 2 convenient locations. Jets Pizza, a proud supporter of ONTV since 2009.
We will mention to you again, this broadcast tonight is being sent to you in sparkling high definition, and we're happy to bring it to you. And I have to mention, so good tonight to see Jimmy Caritas back. Jimmy is coaching with the Dragons now, teaching at the high school. One of the nicest guys and one of the most dedicated football players you ever saw. Went up to Northern Michigan, had a great career up there. Comes back teaching at the high school. It's just good to see Jimmy back. And it was good to see Coach Frank Novak again. Comes in every day, works with special teams, former NFL coach. We talked about him last year. He's back, and what an influence he is on some of these young guys. So the Dragons will receive. Matt Kraus back deep, flanked by number 5, Zach Serzo, and number 3, Keith Fields.
You know, pick your poison back. The last couple times, or last time they kicked off, Troy, they kicked to Serzo, and you kick to Serzo, you kick to Fields, you kick to Kraus. I mean, any one of them could break it, you know.
Kyle Feetsum will kick off for Troy.
Offsides, yep.
Offside against Troy. They'll back him up. So we'll do it again.
I think number 64, the guy just to the left of the kicker, David Murray, I think he was offsides.
And those big guys aren't supposed to do it. It's the outside guys who are supposed to be offside. Those big guys can't run that fast. Maybe he's trying to get a little head start going. So back it up to the 35. Kraus is standing on the 10. The up back's up on the 20. Now they're being moved up a little more. Referee Pete Utzma blows his whistle. Low end-over-end kick taken by Cerzo on the 15. Stutters a little bit. He's got an opening. He's around the left side, still moving, cuts back to the middle of the field, and brought down at the 27-yard line.
Blocking downfield, and a great vision, great cutback. We just talked about it. You know, pick your poison who you want to kick to, and you saw Cerzo do a nice job of initially getting to the edge, getting to the perimeter, and then again with that quality vision, being able to cut back.
Matt Krause.
Look at his head. Look at his head moving.
Twice.
Always looking for that next cut. And watch this block downfield. You can't quite see it off camera, but well done all in all for the Dragons. Great way to start the second half.
Costas under center, gives to Fields. He breaks it outside. He's open to the 5. Touchdown, Lake Orion Dragons. 24 yards, 1 play.
Here, you know, we talked about it in the first half on their scoring drive. Interception, next play, touchdown. Big kick return, next play, touchdown. And you know, just like that, talk about a momentum killer for the Colts. Great 2 plays in a row for the Dragons. Great way to start the second half.
Luke Bellavacqua will kick the extra point. Woods the holder. Kick is up, and the kick is good. 11:47 left in the third quarter. Play took 13 seconds. Dragons are up 14-0, and that 14-7. Thank you. The scoreboard's right over there. I got it right in front of me here too. That was what this team needed, because you look at that sideline, now they're energized.
Young team, slow starts. We've seen them. We've seen that the last 2 weeks now, and you know, Lake Orion last week scored 21 in a row in the second half against Athens to take a commanding lead and ultimately win 35-22. But you know, that's exactly the kick in the tail, so to speak, that the Dragons needed to start this second half off on the right foot, and now let's go get something defensively.
They've called some kids up from the JV, and we know that because there's quite a few kids down there that don't have name tags on the back of their jerseys. That's usually a pretty good indication.
Well, you know what? There's
Bevilacqua. High kick coming down to the 8, up to the 20, 25, down at the 26 by number 41, Pete Welgarts. That was number 25, Connor Wilson, on the return.
You know, now Troy comes out offensively, and they're down 7, but they still got to go back to what they did in the first half. Very methodical, very deliberate. We're content with taking time coming out of the huddle, or not even the huddle, but from the sideline, calling the plays from the sideline. They've got to maintain that flow, because ultimately they don't want to be giving Lake Orion the ball and allow them to quick strike like they just did both times on their scoring drives. So Troy can't panic in that regard and feel like they got to get it all back at once.
And if you're the defense, you got to be energized. Your team just gave you the lead. It was a quick strike. Now your job is to hold them. Number 5, Eric Papandrea, and he just found holes and kept his legs moving. He got a first down out to the 40.
Yeah, Papandrea only had, which seemed like a lot. I thought he had a lot more. He only had 3 carries for 11 yards in the first half.
He just outran Logan Shadea to get around the corner. A little quick toss, and that goes nowhere. Number 28, Aaron Hughes up, jumping around.
You think so? A little fired up out there?
Number 10, Bay Smart, jumping around.
You know, it's just amazing what 2 back-to-back huge plays can do for, again, the mental part of the game. And it energizes not only one side of the ball, but the entire unit, the entire team.
Loss of 2, 2nd and 12 from the left hash. Bradley, all alone, empty backfield. Back to throw. Hit, throws, and dropped. Number 4, Casey O'Brien, had it in his hands, had 2 Dragons around him, and dropped it.
Either he heard footsteps, you know, or it's one of those things where you're trying to get it back, you're trying to make plays, and you know it's 3rd and long, but you know, what do we always say, Coach? I call you Coach still, even though we're up in the booth, you know. Catch the ball, tuck the ball, then look to score the ball. Don't do it any other order, because inevitably it's going to end up on the ground like it did there.
Lake Orion's calling a timeout. That's right. That's why we did all those drills. You know, catch it, tuck it, run, in that order. We will be back. Our broadcast schedule. We'll be back with you next week when the Dragons travel to Oxford. As we mentioned in pregame, we only have 3 home games, and I had a schedule with me and I lost it. So somewhere we have what our home games are. But we're looking forward to going back to the blue turf at Oxford again.
That's next week, and then the week after we're here against West Bloomfield.
Thank you. And I'm looking forward to that game. I think as we talked about in pregame and talked about throughout the game, Coach Bellamy's done a good job with that team.
Yeah, and he came out in the paper this week and said that he thought they might be one of the best defenses, not in the conference, but the state.
It's good to have that confidence.
Yes, it is.
Bradley, back to throw, looking, throws out on the flat, and led O'Brien about 2 steps too far, so it's going to be 4th and 12, and there it is. Our defense makes a stop.
You know, and O'Brien on that little swinger out was open out here, flaring out of the backfield. He's open. He just led too much, and if that ball's in a catchable position, O'Brien's got the opportunity to do something with it.
Keith Fields back deep for the Dragons. High kick, returnable. Fields has it on the 27, up over to 30, cuts back to 35, comes outside to the 40. He's got speed,
nice
gets
block.
A block, and down at the Troy 43-yard line. Number 3, C.J. Cousins, just got steamrolled.
We got a penalty at the spot, or the where the ball was down, where Fields was tackled.
Referee Pete Utzma, dead ball foul, personal foul against Troy. There may have been some extracurriculars going on after the play was over.
Well, you know, I mean, I didn't see the play, and obviously I didn't see what happened from up here, but think about it. You know, we're a minute and 33 seconds into the second quarter, and at halftime you're tied 7-7. 2 quick plays, kickoff return, quick strike touchdown, 3 and out for Troy, and all of a sudden Lake Orion has a nice punt return. You know, you can maybe sense some frustration on that Colts sideline and on the field. As a result, 15-yard personal foul gives Orion a nice field position inside the 30.
Costas tossed back to Kraus. He dropped the ball, picks it up. He's going to run with it anyhow, and he's going to get yardage. 20 down to the 10 and inside the 10-yard line. How about that?
A late flag over here, too. Late flag on the sideline over here, number 64.
A toss back
David
to
Murray.
Matt Kraus, and he dropped it. Had to go back another 3 yards to pick it up.
And look at the
Keith Fields with a good block.
nice block from behind Kraus on the run.
We'll
and
see.
then Keith Fields, number 3, and for Orion, and number 64, David Murray, had a few words or a scuffle on the sideline, and I think that's where the flag was thrown.
We've got a 5-man conference over there. They're going to sort some things out.
But you see
Personal foul, Troy.
So I think this proves what I was talking about in the sense that they're certainly frustrated as to what's happened in this first under 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think they came out of the locker room brimming with confidence. We went head-to-head with Lake Orion for a half, and then this happens, and it's all been big plays.
And that's the mental part of the game that is so vital to the success of football teams. And for a young team and an inexperienced and a team that struggled at this point in time this year, you can't afford to do those things.
So now it's 1st and goal from the 4. Costas under center. Inside handoff to Fields, and he gets maybe a yard. Brought down by number 8, Torrey Kennard.
But Kraus takes that ball that was fumbled and just the man on a mission, the way he's running the football.
That was
impressive to
play.
watch.
Full house backfield for the Dragons. Kraus gets a handoff. He's in. Touchdown, Lake Orion Dragons. I don't care if you go 70 yards, if you go 3 yards. It's still a touchdown. Dragons have come out on fire here in the second half.
Two minutes and 30 seconds in. Just run a little power out of the house formation. Matt Kraus, his 9th touchdown of the year.
And he took Papandrea into the end zone with him. Bevilacqua in for the extra point. Wood holding. Ball is down, kick is up, and the kick is good. 9:30 left here in the third quarter. Your score, Lake Orion 21, Troy 7. Have you ever wanted to make your own TV show or operate a camera for a live sporting event, be part of our happy crew here at Dragon Stadium? Well, ONTV can make it happen. Your first step, though, is to sign up for orientation. It's free and offers you a look behind the scenes at ONTV. Call 248-693-3377 or 248-393-1060. And I notice we have to change our read sheet because we say it's free, and on the graphic it says $10 for Orion residents. Oh, our director Joe Velez says I'm right, it is free, so they're going to change the graphic for next week. Bevilacqua will kick it off. Number 5, Papandrea, and number 32, Dom Morelli, back for Troy. Bevilacqua puts a foot into it. High kick coming down on the 5 to Morelli. He's up to the, doesn't make it to the 20, slid down on the 18. Number 93, we need more room. Number 93, Christian Escobedo on the tackle for the Dragons. Just a little slide tackle, slide on turf, go over and grab him on the way down. Troy takes over, 1st and 10 from the 19. Bradley still at quarterback. Spread formation, trips to the left. Bradley looking, gonna run it. And he got about 4 yards and then got taken down. Number 4, Logan Shadea and others.
Yeah, he was, Bradley was looking across the middle. Jack Percy, number 14, came across the middle, looking for that void, that opening again. But the outside penetration for the Dragon pass rush forced Bradley up into the pocket for a couple yard gain.
2nd down and 8 from the 21. Bradley on the keeper up the middle, gets mid up over the 25 to the 26. Number 32, Sean Mercer on the tackle.
Doug, another flag on the play, and that was thrown awful late. So again, I starting to get a little chippy out there.
That come from the back, Judge?
Unsportsmanlike on both sides.
Yeah, offsetting unsportsmanlike, so it never happened. It'll be 3rd down and 8. Actually, we're supposed to replay the down. Oh, you know what? They were dead ball fouls. So the play stands. It'll be 3rd down and 8. Hey, it's first game for us, too.
But the rules haven't changed.
The rules haven't changed. Just a couple different points of emphasis
That's right.
this year. Bradley looking to the sideline. Quick toss.
Nice open field tackle.
Number 28, Aaron Hughes. Papandrea got the ball, and Aaron Hughes was right there and stopped it. So it's 4th down and 1.
Very interesting to see what Troy does on a situation like this. I mean, it is 4th and 1, but you're on your own side of the 30 for that matter, and very risky in my opinion if you go for it and don't get it.
I think they wanted them to look at it, and referee Pete Utzma came up and said, "No, it's 4th down." And I think they're going to punt it. Nope. Yeah, they're in. Keith Fields back in punt formation. The punter was blocked by the monitor here.
High snap.
Papandreou's the punter. High snap, gets the ball away. Short kick, caught by Coach Bell.
He's not playing, is he?
He called for a fair catch.
Okay.
So Lake Orion takes over 1st and 10 on their own 49, 7:24 left here in the 3rd.
A little more scoring. Wow. Two touchdowns in less than 4 minutes. It seems like this 3rd quarter is longer than the entire first half.
Well, it is. There's been more scoring. And, you know, that was a confidence builder and probably a confidence destroyer for Troy that they had to punt on a 4th and 1. If that happened in the 4th quarter, they go for it. Fields to the outside, cuts it upfield, got good yardage up to about the 42-yard line. They're going to call it the 43 of Troy. Gain of 8. Brings up 2nd and 2. And Keith Fields showed some good wheels getting to the outside.
I'm going to say, how many years have we talked about the speed that the Lake Orion backs have had? I mean, it's as long as I can remember. You're seeing it here tonight.
Fields in motion, handoff up the middle to Kraus.
Fumble.
Dropped the ball. Troy's got it.
Yeah, and that's one of those things we talked about early is as well as Matt Kraus has, as the number of yards that Matt Kraus has had on the year, he's also turned the ball over twice, now 3 times, and number 55 for the Colts.
Scortino dropped it.
Yeah, no, nice penetration shot the inside A gap and was able to surprise Kraus a little bit and popped it loose, and the Colts recover. So,
So you can see that momentum, that Mo guy, he's just swinging back and forth here. Troy takes over 1st and 10 on their own 49. Gonna throw, goes deep. Knocked down.
Tell you what.
Number 5, Eric Papandrea, took the handoff, went back and threw it, but there were about 4 Dragons around number 11, Devin Alexander.
But if you look at that play initially, Alexander was open.
Oh, yeah.
He's on top of the corner Dallas Cleary there for probably by about 5 yards, and that ball just kind of hung, and it never got there. And as a result, Wiggins and the rest were able to close the gap.
It took Papandrea a long time to wind up and let that thing go. So 2nd and 10. Bradley, quick pass, incomplete. Intended for number 4, Casey O'Brien. And the same thing, it was on his back shoulder. He threw it hard, and O'Brien just couldn't turn around in time to make a move on it. So now we have 3rd and 10. Troy lining up with trips left, 2 receivers right. Devin Alexander split wide to the right. Bradley on the keeper, and he's going to get about 2 yards to bring up 4th down and 8. It looks like the Dragons have tightened up the middle of their defense.
I was just going to say, the Colts were 10 of 14 in the first half passing the ball, and obviously had some success moving it. And as a result, whether it's what Lake Orion's doing defensively or what the Colts are doing offensively, I'm sure it's a combination of both, but they haven't had the success they had in the first half to this point in time.
Keith Fields is back deep.
Blocked.
Nope.
Sure looked like it was going to be.
I'll tell you what, it was a wise thing by Aaron Hughes. He was in, but he looked and he said, if I stretch out, I'm going to hit the kicker. So he did the wise thing and peeled off and let the kick get away. And we talked about Keith Fields. This young man's a sophomore. We're going to have him for 2 more years. And he is that lightning in a bottle.
Speaking of lightning, there was a ton of lightning last Friday when the Dragons played. Holy cow.
Oh, man, there was a ton of games rescheduled.
Well, I'm sure the Colts probably wish this first part of the 3rd quarter would have been rescheduled or do-over.
I was talking with referee Pete Utzman before the game, and he kind of echoed what every other game made it until about 3 minutes left in the first quarter, then got canceled. That's Krause on the run around the left end.
If we can see this on the edge, number 5, Zach Serzo, does a great job of helping secure the edge, just fighting to get outside. Right here on the edge, doing a great job fighting number 10 there for the Colts. Hornsby does a nice job of helps getting Krause to the edge for a first down.
Stood him up, stood his ground, and didn't hold. That's the main. He did not hold.
5'8", 170, strong as an ox, and doing a great job of springs Krause for a first down.
1st and 10. Krause again, up the middle. Gain of about 6. Bring up 2nd and 4 from the 34.
Krause turns the ball over, you come right back to him, right? You come
Absolutely.
right back to him and give him the ball and help him establish that confidence and build on what he's done to this point in time.
Tight formation for the Dragons. 1 wide receiver out there, number 84. Ryan Wood. Serzo way into Troy territory, down to the 25-yard line.
It's either Fields or Serzo or Krause, and a little misdirection counter play, and Serzo comes back.
Look at that hole.
Avoids a tackle. 2, 3 would-be tacklers, and 2 end up bringing him down 40 yards downfield. Lake Orion 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line of the Colts.
Connor Wilson and Don Morelli on the tackle for Troy. 1st and 10 from the 25, 4:30 left here in the third quarter. Costas looking it over. Inside handoff to Kraus. He's bunched up. Number 54, Johnny Gahuru. He's one of the captains on this Troy team.
Casey O'Brien also went on the stop.
So that brings up, he lost about a half a yard. So we'll still, the scoreboard's calling it 2nd and 11, but it's not a full yard loss. Double wide, double slot look for the Dragons. Kraus is the lone back in the backfield. Costas under center. Back to throw. Looks, throws deep for the end zone. Fields, and they're going to call pass interference. He got his feet tangled up with number 32, Don Morelli.
Interesting, because it looked like Fields, as he's running that go route, nice play action fake there. As he's running the go route, he extends his right hand. And you can't quite see it on that film, but they are going to call pass interference on the Colts.
So that'll be 15 yards.
But just prior to that, from here I could see Fields kind of extend his right arm, try to create some separation, but inevitably
it's usually going to go on the defense.
Don't get me wrong, we'll take it.
So they march it off. It's going to be 1st and 10 from the 13. 3:46 left here in the third. Coach Bell told me before the game, he said, you're going to see a couple different formations tonight, and they have. They've gone full house. Now they go to the double wide, double slot look. They've gone just with 2 wides and 2 wing players.
That's part of the flexibility that makes it difficult for defenses to have to game plan for. You know, you've got alignments and assignments, and you've got to understand your responsibilities, but in order to run against all those different formations in a scout week, it makes it very difficult to game plan for. And then when you've got guys like Serzo and Fields and Kraus that can run the ball, how do you simulate that in practice? I mean, you can't.
You can't simulate speed.
No, you can't. So that makes it difficult with the tempo that the Orion offense runs, and the skill guys that they have, and the horses that the Dragons have up front. You just can't simulate that in practice.
Procedure call against the Dragons. And we found that out when we had to play Rochester Adams when they ran the wing T. Who was our wing T quarterback, Coach Frisching? Somebody who quarterbacked the wing T. Inside handoff, Fields gets dropped. Maybe a half yard. That'll bring up 2nd and 15 from the 18.
Try to run the little power play, the backside guard pulling, and Kraus was looking to kick out the end, and Colts did a nice job of containing Fields on that play. There's a jet motion coming back across. Kraus misses the block at the edge, and as a result, Fain makes a tackle.
Costas looks it over. Kraus is alone back. Serzo and Wiggins in slots. Back to throw, looks, throws. Got Kraus. Turns the corner inside the 5 down to the 4-yard line. They're going to bottle him up running the ball, swing him out and throw it to him.
Get the ball to your back, your best player in open space. And that's what they did right here. Costas, that's all he did. A little roll out, threw the ball on his back hip. Kraus does a great job of knowing where the sticks are, securing that football. Oh, I'm sorry, didn't get out of it. I thought it was a first down. My fault.
Oh, I thought so too. I thought he had a first down. It's 3rd down and 1 from the 4.
Get to your backs in open space. Let them do what they do. And that's
Full
what
house
Matt did that
backfield. Kraus gets the ball. He's got a first down. It'll be 1st and goal from the 1.
So not only can he run the ball, he can catch the ball coming out of the backfield. Quite a weapon to have.
And you talked about the field awareness, where you are, where the sticks are. Full house again. Surzo, Kraus. Kraus gets the ball, tumbles forward. He's inside the 1. He got maybe a half yard. Number 8, Torrey Kennard, in on the tackle. Kind of submarine, Matt, on his way down. 2nd and goal from the 1. Full house look again. Touchdown, Lake Orion Dragons. Number 4, Logan Shadea. Everybody's looking for Matt Kraus on that one. They give it to the back and just let him come across.
Yeah, they let Kraus lead that time on the kick out. And then Surzo leads up and inside, and Shadea finds the hole, 1 yard out, touchdown. So again, you whether you're running out of that house backfield or the spread backfield, you've got guys that can carry the ball and score the ball and have a nose for the end zone.
Bevilacqua, kick is up, kick is good. 1:54 left in the 3rd. Lake Orion 28, Troy 7. While we have a moment, we'd like to thank Jets Pizza for sponsoring our replays this year and for supplying food to the ONTV crew before the game.
So we talked about it earlier. You know, Lake Orion comes out in the second half and scores 21 straight against Troy Athens last week. What happens tonight? 7-7 at halftime. Lake Orion comes out and scores 21 straight in the second half tonight. So I just, you know, slow starts the last couple weeks against 2 Troy teams, and as a result, you look up at the scoreboard late in the 3rd, and we're up 28-7.
And you look over at the Troy bench. I mean, they're walking around saying, "What happened?" There is no movement. Nobody's walking around over there. They're just standing around looking, saying,
"They stunned?"
Yeah, where to go? Bevilacqua will kick off. Morelli and Wilson back deep. End over end kick. Coming down up over the 30 and down at the 33. Number 25, Connor Wilson on the return. And number 61, Cameron Shadea, in on the stop for the Dragons. Troy takes over, 1st and 10. We have a Troy player down. That's number 10, John Hornsby. Troy Trainers. Try saying that 5 times.
Wow.
Out looking at him. While we have a break in the action, we will say, as soon as I find the read sheets, that's a nice shot. If you're a fan of sports talk and just plain zaniness, then tune in to Between Terra Marinas, a different type of sports talk show. New episodes are live Monday at 6 p.m. right here on Public Access Channel 10, AT&T Uverse Channel 99. Also check the ONTV program guide at OnTV.org for other air times that best fit your viewing schedule. 1st and 10 for Troy from the 22, 1:49 left in the 3rd. Ball's on the right hash. Bradley Going to keep it, toss back, and I see who. Number 5, Papandrea gets a first down up close to the 35-yard line.
Not a big back, but they run that little misdirection, read option. They've run that ball twice now. Papandrea is not a big back, but he certainly runs hard. He's certainly physical, strong kid.
You can see, I mean, we talked about it in pregame. These aren't the big Troy players they had in the past, but they're very, very quick. Bradley back in a shotgun. He's going to keep it up the middle, close to a first down at the 45-yard line. And I think they're going to call it a first down. It is 1st and 10 for Troy.
And Bradley's run the ball fairly well this game.
So 1st and 10, trips left, double wide left. Bradley again on the keeper, gets up to midfield. Brought down by number 10, Base Smart. And number 4, Logan Shadea in on the tackle as well. 2nd down, call it 5. Bradley throws over the middle, incomplete, intended for number 4, Casey O'Brien. And it was the same thing. The ball was thrown behind and low, and he had to go down for it.
Yeah, you know, it was the right idea. Shadea was blitzing from his middle linebacker spot, and they ran the slant right into the place where Logan blitzed from, and it was a right play call, just, again, poorly executed.
3rd down and 5 from midfield. Bradley throws it, threw it high, and incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down.
Boy, Aaron Hughes did a nice job of fighting off that block from that perimeter and really doing a great job of disrupting right there.
Right there.
You know, had that ball even been caught, Hughes would have been right there in some way, shape, or form to force the wide receiver to make a cut or fall down, whatever. But
yeah, he took number 14 right in with
right.
it.
That's what you got to do on the perimeter. You got to be physical. You got to force that ball inside, back to where your help is, and blow up that perimeter block, and it was well done.
Keith Fields back deep for the Dragons. High snap, kick is away. Short kick coming down to the 15 and down there. Papandrea had a little pressure that time, and same thing, the Dragon rushers peeled off right at the last minute. So Dragons take over 1st and 10 from their own 15-yard line. 10.5 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. And, you know, we brought it up before, but I'm looking down at this Lake Orion sideline, and we've never seen this many players walking around in street clothes. And Coach Tooley and Coach Eric Jennings both said that they've just been racked with injuries more than they could ever remember with the Lake Orion team.
And thus the importance of establishing depth and getting guys that are your 2nd and 3rd strings to get some time and get some experience, and all those things combined to prevent or to be prepared, have that next man up mentality or that attitude.
Matt Krause on the run, brought down by number 5, Connor Wilson. Gain of 9.
Runs the ball hard, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
He really does. Fun to watch. Great 3rd quarter for the Dragons.
End of 3. Lake Orion 28. Troy 7.
DVD copies can be purchased by calling ONTV at 248-693-3377 or 248-393-1060. For only $10, you can get a copy of not only this game, but any game or program in our broadcast vault. That's DVD copies, 248-693-3377 or 248-393-1060. Well, Lake Orion's certainly going to want, they're going to watch all their film tomorrow, no question, but they're going to certainly want to watch that third quarter. And, you know how impressive that was. I guess you're watching all quarters so you can learn and correct and improve and so forth, but that third quarter was certainly fun to watch.
Yeah, Saturday film sessions are never fun for the players. Yeah, there's been a lot of times that the players walk out of the film room saying, didn't we win that game? But you know what? That's what it's for.
Yeah, didn't we do anything right?
Yeah.
No, you're.
And the first quarter is going to be ugly. There's no question. But boy, I'll tell you what, there's going to be it's just night and day from the second to the third quarter. 1st and 10 for the Dragons from the 24. Kraus on the carry. Or I'm sorry, that was Serzo. Breaks a tackle. He's in open field down to the 40, the 30, the 20, and out of bounds at the 10-yard line.
Well, okay.
You can't coach speed. Serzo got around the corner, or got right up the middle, broke a tackle.
Great little power play off tackle. And look at
him outrun people.
Yeah, but look at the help. Look at the help from behind. You know, number 56, Austin Jones. All right, Nick Fox downfield.
Jack Percy on the tackle for Troy. It is 1st and goal from the 9. Handoff around the inside. Looked like Keith Fields.
Yep.
Number 51, Chase Linton on the tackle for Troy. Brings up 2nd and goal from the 6.
You know, Matt Kraus has gotten all the publicity to this point in time, the first 2 games, but when you start talking about a kid named Zach Serzo and Keith Fields.
Absolutely.
They're having great games tonight.
And you know what? They've got 2 twin towers at wide receiver that don't get the ball to them thrown much. Kraus around left end, broke a tackle, and they're calling it touchdown Lake Orion Dragons. They weren't sure if he got in. He got hit and kind of turned around and tiptoed along the sideline.
Here's running, toss to the left, great block on the outside. Holy cow, keeps his feet moving.
And just dances to the pylon.
Yeah, ball crosses the goal line. Heck of a block by 84 Ryan Wood to help seal that edge and allow that corner not to be a part of the play. Just all in all, a great play. Touchdown Dragons.
Tom Hebert, the head linesman, was a little late with the touchdown call, but the Dragon offensive lineman made it for him. Bevilacqua, kick is up. Kick is good. 10:54 in the 4th quarter. Lake Orion 35, Troy 7.
You're going to look at this score tomorrow in the paper, at least up to now, if it stays this way, you're going to say, boy, that game was a blowout. You know, up 4 scores right now. And you know what? It wasn't. I mean, up until now.
The second half has been. And also what that does is, you know, Troy had their game plan coming in. The short passes over the middle. Now they got to get out of that game plan and try to get some points on the board.
Running game, running game, running game.
Number 11, Devin Alexander. And I should know who's back there. They've been back there all night. Is that Papandrea back there? Number 5. Somebody's back there deep for Troy. Bevilacqua brings the ball up. Yeah, we already called Alexander. There we go. Number 3, CJ Cousins back deep with him. End over end kick. Coming down to Alexander on the 3. Up to the 15. Bottled up at the 15. Breaks a tackle. And gets close to the 20.
That ball was awful loose a couple times. The ball came away from his body. Ultimately, the ball did get fumbled and fumbled out of bounds, but Alexander.
Christian Escovedo. Yeah, ball did come out.
Yeah, pops out at about the 17, 18.
And number 26, Nick Basser on the tackle for the Dragons. So Bradley brings them out. 10:44 left in the game. 1st and 10 from the 17-yard line. Bradley with a play fake and goes around, hands off to Papandrea around right end. He initially handed it off.
A little dive option, and
yeah, O'Brien got stood right up. The only problem is he didn't have the ball. So 2nd down and 3 from the 24. Bradley handing off. Papandrea around left end. He's got enough for the 1st down over the 30-yard line. First down from the 33, ball on the left hash.
It's interesting how successful they were the first half up through the air, and this second half, now that they're down, they're continuing to stay on the ground. As soon as I say that, what do? They pass, right?
Yeah, they passed to Papandrea. He got about 4, 5.
You know what you don't see, they don't seem to have that vertical threat that allow them to get back in the game quick. You know, it's dink, it's dunk, it's short, it's over the middle, it's your short 5 to 7, your intermediate range routes, and you know, you got to have athletes to be able to bust one and break it for big plays. But you know, that type of mentality moving down the field is not going to get it done very quick.
Pressure. Looks like there's going to be a hold, throw, caught. Number 14, Jack Percy. Now he's 6'2". The other outside receiver, number 14, Jack Percy. Or, I'm sorry, Devin Alexander is 6'3". They've got some size on the outside.
Let's see if we see the hold here. There's a hold right there.
Yep.
Yep, number 54.
Yeah.
Is holding Tommy Babich, and they caught that, and it was pretty evident there. Takes it back 10. Bring him 2nd and long.
2nd, 21 from the 22. Trips left, 1 receiver to the right. Bradley back, throws. Caught.
I'm going to say it again. Aaron Hughes is reading that play to perfection. He's blowing up the wide receiver perimeter block, the stock block, and this time the ball was caught, and he makes a play on that little wide receiver screen. Great job. Fights off the block and makes a play. You can't ask for it any better than that.
Jack Percy may be 6'2", may have some size, but he's got to refine his blocking technique.
Well, I think.
So 3rd down and 25. Morelli around the right side, and he gets maybe a yard, maybe two. Shadiah runs him out of bounds.
That's a long way to run.
Oh boy. So 4th down, and Troy had to make some yardage on that drive, and just, you know, the holding penalty didn't help, but they just didn't do anything. Yeah. Fields back deep for the Dragons. Papandrea to punt.
They moved on the
low snap, got the kick away. It's a short kick, goes out of bounds.
Yeah, Troy moved. The gunner over here on this side of the punt formation moved.
Lake Orion may decline this and just take the ball where it's at.
Although the flag is thrown in the middle of the field near where the ball was snapped.
Referee Pete Utzma, tell us what happened. Illegal use of the hands on Lake Orion.
Well, guess not.
So they're going to punt it again.
Is that automatic first down?
Boy, it's going to be just short of a first down. And they're calling it 1st and 10 Troy. Nope, 1st and 10 Lake Orion. Got some changes in for the Dragons.
Personnel-wise, they still don't know what's.
Tyler Barkley ran in. Yeah, they're going to some of their.
Well, I'm just.
Tyler Barkley's coming in. He's a 6'11" junior.
6'11"?
I'm sorry, 5'11".
Wow, that would be.
Jake Urker is in at one of the offensive lineman positions. Number 70, Jeff McCarty, also checking in. Matt Krause looks like his night is done. Andrew Audish checks in at a wide receiver spot. And number 16, Max Horneffer, in at quarterback. Nick Basser is the running back. Toss back to Basser, juggles the ball, and he's going to be tackled for a loss. He never had a chance to check where his blocking was because he never really corralled the ball in.
He's shaking his head, a little frustrated with that. Yeah, you're right.
It's the same thing.
Chase Fain comes off a block and makes a nice play for a 6-yard loss.
Catch it, tuck it, run it. 2nd down and 16 from the 47. Horneffer under center. Handoff, number 35, Lawan Broner. And he's going to lose a couple yards. And this is the thing that we've seen year after year, is these 2nd and 3rd string guys are getting some valuable playing time.
They don't get a lot of reps as a unit traditionally in practice. And the ability to get that game experience is so crucial.
Horneffer's a sophomore quarterback. I think you're going to see a lot of him in the next couple of years. Watched him during pregame. He's got a pretty good arm on him. Rolls right. Going to tuck it and run. Got Greenfield in front of him and knocked down at the 25-yard line. Good. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Horneffer showed a set of wheels on that too.
Right on cue, Doug, right on cue. Did a nice job on the little waggle play, and I think that was a situation where he was going all the way.
Okay, running back coach, what do you see?
He saw green grass, he's going. There he tucks it away. He tucked it away after he was over the line of scrimmage. He's always want to have that dual threat that at any point in time, if there was a back crossing route open, he could dump it. But as soon as he crossed that line of scrimmage, he tucked it away. First down, Dragons.
1st and 10. Inside handoff to Bosser on the run. Gain of 1. Brings up 2nd and 9. Bosser checks out. Number 24, Dan White, checks in. Dan White is, I think, a JV call-up. He's got no nameplate on. Our thanks to Coach Eric Jennings for getting us the rosters with the latest additions on them. White gets a run, gets maybe a yard. Under 4:30 left here in the 4th quarter. Dragons up 35-7. Dragons facing a 3rd and 9 from the Troy 23. Coach Bell and Coach Darren Tooley signaling the plays in. Only one of them means anything. Jeff McCarty's the center now. Procedure against Lake Orion. Number 42, Joel Thorne, in at one of the slot positions.
That's another thing you'll see with the young crew or your seconds and thirds, the timing, the just the little things that often mean so much. You know, you'll see penalties such as that happen.
So 3rd down and 14 from the 28. Horneffer on the handoff. 42, another flag down. Thorne on the run around right end.
Number 42, Joel Thorne is the ball carrier.
We have another penalty. We'll see what this is.
63, Johansson. There is a flag.
Holding Lake Orion.
That's one of the things that I know early on this season Coach Bell wasn't too happy about is the sheer number of penalties that they've had through 2 games. They had 20 penalties combined for 190 yards over the first 2 games, and that's something, again, we go back to talking about film, and something you always want to correct. Whether you're a first team, second team guy, doesn't matter. The ability to eliminate those penalties to put yourselves in better situations is obviously crucial.
Yeah, penalties just decimated them against Chippewa Valley. Handoff to 24, Dan White. He picks up maybe 4. And that'll bring up a 4th down for the Dragons. You might as well go for it in this situation. You're just out of field goal range, but you're too close in to try to punt. Horneffer under center. Draw inside to Basher. He's up to the 30-yard line and down. So Troy takes over on downs, 1st and 10 from, we'll call it the 31, with 2:28 left in the game.
The Dragons turn the ball over on downs at the Troy 31.
Don't forget, next week we will be at Oxford, the annual renewal of the OAA Trophy. Last year, the game was started and ended just after halftime in a torrential downpour. And the Dragons were down and came back to win the game on Saturday afternoon.
Kind of like last week against Troy Athens.
Absolutely. And you know what? All the rainouts that I can remember, they've happened mostly at Troy Athens.
Yep.
New quarterback in for Troy. It's number 6, Richie DeBerry. He completes to number 4, Casey O'Brien, for a first down close to the 45-yard line. We'll call it the 43. And it's the same thing. You're putting your second string, your third string in the defensive back, on defense. And these kids need the playing time. Number 14, Zach E. Miller, in on one of the corner spots. DeBerry in the gun. Fumbled the ball, ball's loose. Dragons have it. DeBerry got a mix-up on the handoff, and the ball was on the turf.
That's the problem sometimes with the option look and the read option look. Whether you try to pull it out, and tried to pull it out that time and didn't quite ever get a grasp of it, and as a result, that ball ends up on the ground. Dragons recover, take over. But again, going back to your second string guys not getting enough reps, and that could have attributed to that particular fumble for the Colts right there.
Horneffer on the handoff. Number 89 on an end reverse. He's got open field to the 5, inside the 5 to number 89, Tyler Barkley.
Nice cutback.
Barkley 6'1", 165.
3 tackles. Four guys he made miss. Finally backside cornerback help. Knocks Barkley down inside at the 5.
First and goal from the 5. 1:19 left in the game. Lake Orion has 2 timeouts. Troy has their full complement of 3. And Lake Orion's going to take a knee. So this one is going to be in the books.
Dragons down the ball near the 7-yard line.
Well,
Horneffer will take a knee again, and the Dragons will improve to 2-1. But you know what, Chris? We had our doubts about this game, but for a half, Troy hung with them every step of the way.
I was going to say, really, I mean, when it's all said and done, you look at it for 3 quarters, they did. I mean, there was no scoring in this 4th quarter. It was a tale of 1 quarter.
Yeah.
When it boils down to it. That's why we always said you got to play a full 4 quarters. And if you don't, that's what happens. And for 1 quarter, Lake Orion came out and put 28 up on the board, and next thing you know, it's 35-7 Dragons.
That'll be the end of it. Your final score, the Lake Orion Dragons improved to 2-1 with a 35-7 win over the Troy Colts. You're watching exclusive coverage of Lake Orion Dragon football here on Orion Neighborhood Television. We'll be right back.
Hello, Lake Orion and Oakland County. This is Sammy Termina here, talking a new show here called OAA Now. We're going to talk about sports from football to basketball to volleyball to track and field to soccer, cross country, etc. here on OAA Now on O1 TV.
Down on the field after Lake Orion defeats the Troy Colts 35-7. Chris, we talked about it upstairs. It really was a tale of two halves.
Two halves, really one quarter, I think, was all said and done. I mean, it was 7-7 at half, no scoring in the fourth quarter, and Lake Orion puts 28 up on the board in the third quarter, and they came out and set the tone right away, the first two plays of the half, and I think that was really, I'll ask Coach Bell about that, but I think that was really the shift in momentum for the entire game, and as a result, they come out on top 35-7. Coach Bell coming over to join us. Coach, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you.
Tale of two halves. What did you tell the team at halftime?
They obviously were stacking the box with 9 guys every time, so we had to make some adjustments. Our execution was just better in the second half. I mean, we wanted to spread them back out, make them honor our spread formations, open some things up inside, but it was still a tough sled. I mean, guys made some big plays. They ran the right tracks, they stayed the course, and things opened up, they popped through. So a lot of that was, the line coming off the ball, being a little bit cleaner up front, and then our running backs with their talent getting up in there, and if we can get a crease and a crack, we got the talent to bust them.
329 yards on the ground, and it really, as Doug said, coming out of halftime, it was the two plays to me right away, the kickoff return and then the touchdown right there that really set the tone for that third quarter and the rest of the game.
Absolutely. Special teams, we work so hard on special teams. I think we got the best special teams coaches in the state of Michigan with Coach Novak and Coach Blackstock, Coach Thomas and Coach Fisher. So they coach the heck out of those, and they're game changers. They flip the field, they're momentum changers. I thought we played great on special teams for the most part. I mean, we missed a field goal that we got to have. We had a penalty one time on the punt return, but for the most part, I thought we played great there. So very happy with the way we played in the second half. And in the first half, it wasn't that we played bad. They just played good. They played good, and they brought it, and they were stacking the box, and we're going to see that. But I think another thing that really helped is Cam made some nice throws when he had the opportunity, and Cam can do that. So if they're going to bring 9 up, all right, we've got guys to get behind him as well.
You talked about Cam, and Matt Krause, of course, is getting all the accolades, well-deserved. But you've got 2 other guys running the ball, Fields and Surzo. They're no slouch either.
No, and I think that's, if they're going to just key on Matt, those other 2 guys are going to have field days. And I think that's what happened tonight. Both those guys played very well. Both those guys played big. Matt was Matt. He had some great runs. But I think the other guys really, were the game changers. And like I said, and part of it is because Matt's going to get so many guys stacked up against him. So it just makes us better all around.
Oxford next week. It's the battle for the OAA trophy at their house. We had a rain out last year. You came back, won it big in the second half on the second day. They're a much improved team this year.
Yeah, they probably, they have one of the better athletes in the league in Glacier Wellington. I mean, as he goes, they go. And he's tough to defend. They're going to run the option. They run the power off tackle better than anybody. They always have tough kids. It's going to be a great football game. It should be a great atmosphere and a lot of fun.
Coach, congratulations on the win. We'll see you next week at Oxford.
Thanks, Doug.
Congrats, Chris.
Thank you. We've always said whatever the coach gives that team at halftime, we want some. And I think I would have liked to have been in that locker room at halftime just to hear what was said, because you saw an entirely different team, and it totally took the wind out of Troy in the second half.
It worked, and we talked all night long, too, about momentum and the ability to change the tone of the game. And 2 quick strike plays in the first half, the interception and the 27-yard pass to Surzo for the touchdown in the first half, and then, again, like we said, coming out at halftime, the kickoff return and the touchdown thereafter. That just, again, that's what Lake Orion's known for, the quick strike plays, the big plays, and you saw some big plays tonight, and you saw some backs that are pretty darn good, and a front line and offensive line is pretty darn good too. Now you start growing and getting more confidence and taking those film sessions and learning from them. You put those things combined with good weeks of practice and healthy practices and healthy games, and things start to blossom, and that's what you want to do. You want to start building momentum as the season goes on and learn from the early mistakes, and that's how good, successful teams go on and win more games and win championships and so forth.
We're 1/3 of the way through the season. Dragons are at 2-1. We go to Oxford next week, but for now we're going to enjoy this one. The Lake Orion Dragons defeat the Troy Colts 35-7. For our producer-director Joe Velez, my broadcast partner Chris Frisching, Coach Bell, and our entire ONTV crew, I'm Doug Corliss. Good night.